Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. This is episode 230. 230 indeed. And we're all right. Just got a pig over there. Just got a pig. Let's block off last episode's hidey hole. Grab Wolfie. He's excited to get going. That way is east, and this way is west. Of course, into the field of cacti, which are very dangerous to Wolfie. But yeah, episode 230. Quite amazing. Ooh, skeleton residue. Don't mind if I do. Skeleton residue. We are... Oh, no! Hold on. I need to pause for a second. I forgot to check what our Child's Play charity is at. Hold on, Wolfie. Yeah, just sit right there. All right. And we're back. We are at... Why did I forget to do that? First of all, I don't know what's wrong with me. Ooh, spooky noises. The game is angry. Very angry. Oh, this was a waste of a boat, I believe. Because we're stuck here. But we are at $21,463 raised for Child's Play charity this season. A little bit over $100 since the last episode, so that's great. Keep up the progress and the continued donations at farlandsorbust.com. Wolfie, let's spawn, but not right on top of me, thank you. No. You're going the wrong way. I'm going to try to go that way. Wolfie, you little noodle. Get. Yes, woof. Woof to you too, good sir. I'm going to try to go around here, get more use out of this boat. Uh-oh, he's going to spawn here again. Not if I go through this area. Yeah. All right, so yeah, $21,463. I appreciate it. Your continued generosity, like I've said, and it's a great cause, and yeah, one of the main reasons we continue. Wolfie, there he is. We continue to the far lands, and Wolfie keeps bumping into our boat, delaying such a process. But yeah, cool, indeed. Woof. Speaking of Wolfie, I guess I'll get this out of the way. I forgot to do it last episode. I had it, but for those of you who watch Vintage Beef and other people on the Mindcrack server, other YouTubers, the Vintage Beef in particular is known for having his beefy tunes. Usually he does that with his Mindcrack episodes, where he'll just give a reference to a music video or a song that he's listening to at the time and calls it Beefy Tunes and recommends people check it out. And I always get questions about what music I like. I've answered it many times throughout Far Lands or Bust history. So I figured I'd try. I don't know how. I'm not going to do it every episode, but something came up. There's a new song out, and I decided I would. I'm just going north here. I'm just going north. This is not the. I thought it would turn into an ocean, but it is not. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to. Yeah, this is like a river. That's actually kind of cool. Now I'm curious what's going on there. Okay, let's go a little bit. If we can turn west and actually make some forward progress, otherwise I'll just disembark. Right, Wolfie? Sploosh. But yeah, instead of calling them, obviously, Beefy Tunes, I wanted to call them... Bark! You're ruining... Woof! Wolfie Tunes! Wolfie Tunes indeed. Ooh. Oh, I was going to say, this is a little area. No, it's a big area. It's kind of cool. So yeah, Wolfie Tunes. And the one tune I've been listening to quite frequently is you guys who have been following and have listened to my many episodes talking about the music I listen to, Sigur Rós, the Icelandic band that defies all classification. They are going to be coming out with a new album in June. The album is called... The first two letters of this word are K and V. How do you pronounce that? Kvikur. Kveikur. If any of you speak Icelandic, please help me with the pronunciation of such things. But yeah, that album's coming out in June, and they released a new single called Brenstein. and I'm sure there's a much more awesome way to pronounce that with an Icelandic twinge than I could ever do, but Bridenstine, there's a new video on YouTube. I will link it in the video description. I will probably forget to do an annotation, but if I don't, there might be an annotation for those of you who like clicking on the video area. So yeah, it's a really cool song. A little bit of a departure. Well, not really a departure. It's very much still Sigur Rós, but it's a little bit deeper. There's a little bit, I'm hesitant to say, but the best way I could describe it is there's a little bit of an industrial inflection. There's a very overdriven bass line that's very prominent throughout most of it. But as most Sigur Rós songs go, it shifts back and forth between very heavy, deep, intense tempo, and then suddenly switches to more lighter melody and things like that, and so it's a really good song. The video's kind of weird, but what else would you expect from Sigur Rós? But yeah, check that out. I really enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to the new album. It's been a while because the lead singer Jonesy has been doing his own thing. He has his own little bit of a side project band that he was working on for a couple of years, but yeah, that's cool. And they're going on tour. I believe. They've already started their U.S. tour. I think they had one in New York the other night, I believe. So, highly recommended indeed. Wolfie tunes. Boing, boing, boing. Indeed. So yeah, that's kind of something I thought of saying. I don't really have that much other news. Earlier this morning, the SpaceX Dragon capsule successfully undocked and re-entered the atmosphere. Just like in Kerbal Space Program, brand new physics and re-entry effects. No, they re-entered the atmosphere and landed off the coast of California. Or splashed down, I guess you should say. Careful. The Dragon capsule, so that's some spacey news, I guess. Spacey news, brought to you by Kevin Spacey. But otherwise, yeah, I don't really have much else to talk about. Like I know last episode I talked about conventions, people at PAX East. Those people have come home. Good and Pause and all the other Minecraft guys have returned, and there's some videos popping up from them and pictures and things, so that's cool, but don't really have much of a dedicated topic to talk about today, so episode over! No. I do have some questions, still have some questions to answer for you guys, and keep those questions coming in to the comments below, and Twitter and things. There are little surges, spikes, and then valleys of questions that I get where I start to wonder if I'm going to have something to talk about on a particular episode. I thought the last episode was a good episode. If I run out of things to talk about, let's just review the previous episode of Farlands of Us. I thought the last episode was pretty good. I was talking a lot, had a few topics there to talk about. And I'm always kind of hesitant. Oh, that episode was so great. I just want to leave it on my homepage. But no, I must continue recording, even if following episodes don't live up to the previous ones, but indeed. I'm gonna wait for the sun to set and we will go to sleep. And then I will get back to, like I just said, answering your questions. Nothing else has been happening with me outside of Farlands of Bust World, really. The weather is still exceptionally crappy and cold, despite being the end of March and almost April. But that is what I get for living in Chicago. It's just what we've come to expect, even though at this time last year it was like 80 degrees, I remember that. In the middle of March, it was crazy. Alright, something's telling me that the oceans are not going to be cooperating with my forward progress in today's episode. Alright, let's do the old elevated hidey hole business here. Woof, Wolfie agrees. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop. I said boop, boop, and a torch. And a bed. And the nighttime song that we only sometimes hear, so BOO's scientific claims are somewhat unproven, if you will. Let's go to sleep. And a Wolfie tunes-ness. Woo! So yes, questions. In the last episode, I teased, once again, I think this is the second time I teased, TJP Guy had a question. For some reason, oh hey, sheep murder. Wolfie agrees with that. It's the Wild Kingdom, live before our very eyes. Woof. Is that just a lone wolf? Oh, no. Why are these wolves not attacking the sheep? Oh, there we go. That's awesome. Well done, guy. Thank you for your assistance in getting me a single piece of wool. Whoa! Whoa, there's a lot of barking going on. They're communicating. So now I'm continuing to tease TJP Guy because I've not answered his question yet. So yeah, TJP Guy had a question. It's a little bit of a, not an awkward question, but it's a unique one, and those are the types of questions I like to answer. But TJP Guy, quite a while ago, this has been in my list of questions for quite a while, asked, "Hey Kurt, do you get emotional or cry at very sad endings to things like movies or games? Or are you the type of person who keeps his composure in the face of anything?" In the face of anything. I am not exactly the most in touch with touchy-feely, personally, emotionally stuff, and I kind of mentioned this a while ago when I was talking about when Neil Armstrong passed away. How, for whatever reason, that really got to me, and that, yes, I will admit, I, at certain points, got quite teary-eyed reading the news and the stories, and then I ended up watching, you know, what is that one called? What is it? The documentary about the moon program, the Apollo program, Ron Howard produced. What is the name of it? Oh, In the Shadow of the Moon. Yeah, I don't know why I went ahead and decided to watch that the day Neil Armstrong passed away, because it just made me even more blubbery over the whole thing. But yeah, I'm not necessarily incredibly in tune, I guess, with those kinds of emotions. It's partly, partly, I guess, a little bit of my introversion. It definitely runs in the family. We're not necessarily one raised to have been, you know, discussed our feelings or things like that. I just went right underneath the boat. Let's go this way. There we go. So there's a lot of that involved with it. I suppose there's also the in the Western world, I guess, in most of the world, the social trope and stereotype that men should not show their emotions and you must be strong and blah, 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 which is a bit of a bad thing, I think, in my personal opinion, but I have definitely fallen victim to that, I guess, and it's become part of my persona. But yes, there are indeed times where I will get emotional or cry at things like movies, very, very rarely, but things like movies. I don't think I've cried at a video game before. No. I mean, Shadow of the Colossus was a very sad game, but it was a little bit spoiled for me by the time I'd played it, so I kind of expected it not to have that great of an ending. No, not games, but movies, yeah. TV shows, I will say, at, what was the name of the episode? Doomsday, Doctor Who. The end of the second season of the modern series, David Tennant. Also, the last episode of David Tennant. I forget what was the name of that one. But yeah, those ones, I got tears tears summoned themselves upon my face. So yeah, there's that. I mean, there's some movies. Lately as in the last 3 or 4 years, I suppose I could say in remembering, documentaries get to me. I don't know, probably a little bit easier because I know that it's actual stuff that's going on, and these are actually people or situations that are actually happening that either gets me angry enough to be like really emotional or actually sad. If you haven't seen The Cove, that's very sad. Very sad indeed. Go. I'm suggesting you go watch a movie so that you can cry, but no. The Cove is just a good documentary in general, but yes, there are some scenes in there that make you angry sad. At least that's the way I reacted to it. Another one that surprised me, because I'm not... You know that I'm not particularly... I don't... How am I trying to word this without sounding like a jerk? I'm not particularly... how could I say this? I know that a lot of younger people watch my show, and you're amazing. Thank you very much for watching my show. But I personally, I don't want to say I don't like kids. I just I don't necessarily associate with small children very well. I wasn't particularly too happy of a kid myself, so I don't really, for whatever reasons in school and stuff like that, but I'm generally, you know, I'm not planning on being one to have children. So therefore, it's a little bit surprising when I watched Waiting for Superman. I think that's the name of the documentary, which is all about the United States education system, public education system mostly, but education system as a whole, really, and how it's not exactly the greatest system in the world, and actually is pretty far from even below being a very terrible system. So there's a scene there. They basically, I guess I can set it up for you. Watch the documentary. It's a very good documentary. I think it won a bunch of awards as well. But there's a scene, they basically, throughout the movie, while they're looking at the whole system as a whole, they actually follow around half a dozen or so kids in different financial and economic and geographic locations, inner city kids. They look at a couple suburban kids and kids who go to private schools versus homeschooled, and you know, the kids in the inner city who have a really terrible situations, and they basically follow them, and these kids are trying to get out of the public school system and into these charter schools. And basically the climax of the documentary is where they enter their name to be drawn basically from a hat. And it's like ridiculous, where there's like 500, 1,000 applicants, but we only choose 7 to go to these charter schools, and the rest have to go into the public education system. And kind of the difference, especially for those in the inner city, is kind of your kid goes to this charter school, you know, one of the 7 kids of his class that gets chosen at random to go to the charter school, and they're guaranteed they will graduate. You know, they have 100% graduation, 100% placement in colleges. They'll have at least a chance at a great future. If they get put into the inner city public school system, there's a 40% chance that they will die to gang violence. So it's kind of like a really like dramatic and emotional situation to be in. But just the whole the scene where they're waiting for their names to be called, and many of their names do not get called, is very emotional. And like the kids are there, and the kids are excited, and the kids want to be chosen. So it's not just the parents, obviously, emotions who get to you, but it's the kids themselves, and that got to me very much so. And whoa! Sudden cliff. I didn't realize I was gaining altitude here in this hill. Let's go this way. So yeah, that, documentaries, things like that, really kind of get to me. Oh gosh, here, yeah, this is one movie, actual movie, that actually, the opening scene... Oh god, how did I get stuck in here? the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan, the National Cemetery at Normandy. Is that what it's called? The American Cemetery in Normandy. Just the imagery of the rows and rows of headstones and crosses was quite, even before the movie even began. Obviously, the opening scene is where the current day, the modern, the older, soldier who survived goes and visits that. Ugh. Blah. Yeah. So to answer your question, TJP guy, I hope you're happy. You got us onto this really quite not exactly the most exciting and happy-go-lucky topic in the world, but yeah, not usually. But there are a few situations that, yes, I do have emotions. I am not totally a robot, just partially a robot. But yeah, let's go to sleep and answer a little bit more uplifting questions, I guess, in the next one. And I don't know, maybe in the comments below, you can write what movie or show, episode, or book, or anything that really makes you lose control of your tear ducts. But in the morning, we will continue. And awakeness. And... oh, ow! That's weird. Well, I didn't take any damage, but the previous... yeah, I know, we're getting going. The previous night, I jumped into a single block of water. That time I just fell into a single block of water and I took damage. Huh. Crazy Minecraft, not making sense. Don't make sense. Kind of a different shift of topics. A question from V8 Supercar Fan 05. V8 Supercars. That is a series that needs a dedicated video game. They were part of Toka Race Driver 3. It's great game. But no more. They might, I don't know if they are part of Grid. I didn't have the patience to continue with that game to see if they were actually a series available to race in Grid. But anyway, yeah. V8 Supercar Fan 05 asks, oh yeah, that should watch where I'm going. So should Wolfie. Wolfie, don't fall. Okay, he's investigating. There we go, he's fine. Asked, hey Kurt, do you like photography? I do like photography. Ooh. Italian photography, apparently. I do like photography. I actually, you may know that I took a line of coursework in college as fine arts. In addition to, get out of here, seeds. In addition to my digital arts kind of concentration, I was in a fine arts track. And I took a few semesters of photography, and that was like actual photography. Granted, it was the early 2000s, so digital photography wasn't quite what it was as it is now. But we took film photography, black and white film photography, and a big part of that art form that I really enjoyed was the darkroom work and the processes. It's very much like it is basically science. You're doing science with chemicals and processes and light, photons. Affecting the silver crystals in the film and the what was it called? What's the paper? Just photographic paper, I guess you could say. I think there's a technical term for the actual unexposed photo paper. But yeah, that was really cool. I think the most interesting part, for those of you who don't know, cameras once had film. No, you have a manual film camera, blah, 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 blah. And in order to expose it yourself, you have to remove the film from the canister after it's been exposed. But you have to do that, like you can't even do that. I know the basic, the kind of stereotypical film processing studio that you see in CSI or movies or things is they have a little dim red light and little containers full of chemicals and liquids. But before you even get to that point, you have to get the film, before you process the film, you have to get it out of the canister that was in your camera, and you have to get that set up to actually process and then freeze the image on the film. The black and white image. I'm forgetting all the terms that was involved in this, but it was really cool. But anyway, that part you had to do in a completely pitch black closet. You couldn't have even the dim red light. So there were closets inside the darkroom that you had to go into, and you had to basically teach yourself with your eyes closed all of the movements. You had to make sure that you had all of the things you needed, the little this little spindly thing that where you end up putting the chemicals and exposing the camera, a little light tight spindly thing. But also you had to, you open it up with a bottle opener. I don't know if that was intentional on the part of the engineering of a film canister, or if that's just something that was a happy coincidence. You know, you had to, you're pretty much blind, and you had to basically, it was all muscle memory as to what you needed to do, and step by step by step. You couldn't like get lost halfway through and then open the door, because then your film was screwed if you had already opened up the canister. You had to open up the canister, you had to put that aside, and then you had to have, there was a big plastic kind of can almost that you could then feed the film into. You of course had to make sure not to touch the face of the film with your thumbprint or finger, so you just had to touch the edges. I can't remember, I think we had to wear white cotton gloves as well. And then, so that was just really interesting to me, that whole process. And then, of course, once that's done, you can go out and do the chemicals and blah, 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 wait a couple minutes, let it dry. And then you go to actually making, you can make your contact sheet to see which images you actually want to print on, the 8x10 or the 8.5x11, whatever we used. And then that's really cool. You have the other cameras that then expose, and then you can, it starts to make sense being in digital art coming from Photoshop. A lot of the tools and processes in Photoshop are actually named after and emulate actual processes and tools that you use in a darkroom. Like, I'm sure you might know the burn and dodge tools are kind of, they make it, if you dodge, it makes the image a little bit lighter. If you burn, it makes it darker. That's actually something you can do while you're exposing a print, is put your hand, or you have a little tool or a little blocker where you can block light out. If say, oh, this part of the picture is a little bit too dark, so I'll block the exposure there for like 2 seconds or whatever, and then that'll make that part of the image brighter, a little bit more contrast. Or the other way, you make kind of you have to cut out a little bit of a what's the word, a stencil or something, where you unmask a mask. A mask is the word. Yeah, and that's another thing in Photoshop, isn't it? A mask. But anyway, it's really cool, and that I really enjoyed. I think I enjoyed the process in the darkroom even more than the actual taking of the photographs, because the problem I found in the photography class is you try to be all artsy and awesome. But living on campus, you're on a college town, there really aren't that many photographically interesting things to take pictures of when you're in a college town. You don't have a car, you're kind of stuck there. So it turns into kind of a really crappy version of street photography. It's a little bit of architecture if you want to take crazy angles of your dorm building, whatever. But yeah, I kind of wished maybe I had maybe the ability to go to somewhere a little bit more interesting to take pictures, like a forest preserve or something, or maybe I would have at the time taken a vacation to I don't know, somewhere like Colorado or Grand Canyon or something like that to take pictures of. But yeah, that was really cool. I think I still might have a box full of all those photos and things. The photos themselves, like I said, not the most artistically interesting things, but the process in the darkroom was probably my favorite part. Probably one of my favorite things that type of courses that I took in college. So yeah, I liked photography. I still, obviously from there, I enjoyed, even after classes, digital. I take a lot of pictures when I'm on vacation. Most of them without people in them, just of landscapes and interesting things. panoramics, as you know, if you follow me on my DeviantArt, I do like panoramics lately. It's something that's easy to do with now a digital camera that you really couldn't do that easily with film cameras unless you really knew what you were doing. So I'd like making panoramics with digital pictures. That's what I've mostly been on a kick on. I used to go to a lot of car shows and take a lot of pictures of cars at car shows, old classic cars and things. Not like Beef, but he did that professionally. But I kind of just took pictures of cars and kind of put neat effects on them and stuff like that. And another way that I kind of... A lot of the skills I did learn for becoming a digital artist, web designer, graphic designer, I taught on my own. And a lot of that comes from messing around with photography and things like that. So yeah, thank you very much for that question, VHWickoffan05. I don't think there's much of a short question I can answer. So yeah, there we go. Very random and varying themes and topics. Hey, didn't I just say that the nighttime song isn't a frequent thing? We just had it 2 out of the 3 nights here. I don't know if that's statistically relevant, but BWO might have been right all along. Oof, okay, I was a little bit worried. That was kind of a long journey, and I didn't know that Wolfie would spawn properly, but he did, and we're all good. And this is not somewhere I want to make a hidey hole, so let's go over here. No. Oh dear. Let's just, sorry, I want to be like, alright, this is getting dangerous. Alright, get your shovel ready. I want to be facing the west for some reason. Here we go, this'll do. Boop, 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 boop. Oh no, I hear zombies. That actually could be bad. Wolfie, Wolfie, Wolfie! Oh lord. Oh, this is actually quite bad, I think. Yep, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. Screw you guys. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. Okay. How about right here? Wolfie, sit. Good job. This is kind of a subterranean, homesick alien reference. Alright, there we go. Got it. Oh, I hear more cave noises. Wolfie, just, yeah, I'll see you, when I see you. Alright. This should work. My shovel is about to break. Come on. At least let me get through this hidey hole. Shovel. No! Not quite. I have to do that. Woof! Let's make a shovel. Got plenty of sticks with all the boats I was breaking. Whoops. Let's do that. And let's make the beds for tonight and the next episode. And let me thank you guys once again for donating to Child's Play charity over at farlandsorbust.com. I appreciate it. Thank you for your questions. Keep asking them below in the comments or on Twitter at KurtJMac. I guess I can make a boat. And I appreciate your continued support for me, my channel, Child's Play charity, the Mindcrack crew. Having fun. Episode 230. The next episode, 231, will be on Thursday, which marks our actual 2-year anniversary from episode 11 of Far Lands or Bust, when we first set off towards the Far Lands. So we'll have some explosive fun in the next episode. Look forward to that. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time.